ngapostwa ku-WhatsApp ngathi ngicela i-screenshot sama-views, wathi uWhatsApp nami kuphela.
Welcome back to Backroom Convos. I'm your host, Lesego Daddy Waddy Potter, aka Shoot You Shorty. Maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Listen, if you are a fan of pod, stay tuned because you might like what we're cooking. On this week's episode, we are talking about the dating scene. I do have a story for you, but we'll talk about that later on in the episode. The song of the day is Nice and Slow by Usher, which was released 1997. The song is by Usher, was released 1997, Nice and Slow. A lot of people know what I'm talking about. When you talk about it, 7 o'clock, I'm in my drop top. So they do know what I'm talking about. So Nice and Slow is the name of the song of the day by Usher. And later on the day, we'll also have a guest who talk more about the dating scene, because now it's a solo episode. And I've realized that a lot of you guys who listen to us really enjoyed the solo episodes, So I will be having more of those as we progress to 100 episodes for sure. Then we'll talk about like having the video podcast later on, and just to give out names that we'll have whenever the video podcast airs. The first guest is going to be Mighty Mabulo. It's going to be the guy Mighty Mabulo. The second episode is going to be Emmanuel Musala. Amazing dude, amazing entrepreneur, amazing friend. Been a fan, known him for years. He first started his brand, a bow tie brand, earlier on 2014-15. He started that, and now he has a new brand of shoes, very, very comfortable even. I like those. I don't have them, but I've made a delivery for him to one of his customers, and I got to feel the texture of the leather, and I really love. I'm so sorry for that. I'm so sorry for that, and I really love the fact. And I'm just not saying this because I know him personally, but I'm just giving you my honest opinion on the product, and I really think it's a good shoe, genuine leather. And if you're a fan of leather shoes, formal shoes, smart casual, you really love the shoe. Check him out on Facebook, on Instagram. It's Emmanuel Musala on every platform. Just send him those DMs and show him love. Local brands, man, let's put them first. I really appreciate. So moving right along, I did mention that today we are talking about the dating scene, and I do have a story for you. Boy, don't start with me. So I do have a story for you guys. Shout out to Botswana, by the way. Shout out to Botswana. People from Botswana have been showing us love. And yesterday I wasn't looking at the analytics, but I found out that yesterday we picked number 2 on the charts in Botswana. So shout out to the people in Botswana who are showing us love. And today we're sitting at the position 5 in Botswana. So it goes to show like people listen and enjoy to our solo episode. Let us know what you think of the solo episodes on the comment section, and who is the guest that you would like to see next on the podcast. So, and please guys, don't forget to follow and rate this show to get a notification for each and every time we drop a new episode. You know what I mean? So let's go into the story, right? The dating scene. I'll give you a backstory, and a lot of the people that know me know that I don't date, and I have my reasons why I don't date. So the last time I think when I dated someone it was around 2015. It's 9 years ago, and dating a beautiful lady by the name of Martha. I won't give you the same name. So her name was Martha, and I ended things on 2015. I was like, listen, and this is me. Even now, she doesn't believe me, but that's a story for another day. That I'm not dating. She doesn't believe me. She thought maybe I left the relationship because, I wanted to have, there's another person that I fell in love with, but truly and honestly speaking, there was never anyone that I was involved with. I just was going through life, and I wanted to make different decisions and choices with my life, and seeing the outcome of like people who were investing in relationships earlier on and like how it turned out. And I was like, maybe it's time for me to take a different route, So I did that at the time, and I did give her the reason that, bro, like I've been doing this dating thing, and as much as it is fun, you are here, I am here, but I really think that at this point, I don't really have much to offer into this relationship. I'd really like to explore the journey of personal development and, understand who Lesego is and what I want to achieve in life, and just not to date, just to date. I just didn't want that, and I felt like there was just something bigger and better outside of dating. I had to explore that world, and prior to that, for sure, there was girls, there was that, and some people would say, like, the proof is a fuck boy based on, because I used to play soccer. For those of you that who don't know, I used to play soccer. So I do have the body, the legs, and, a lot of ladies like that, and, you get approached, boom, boom, but I never really had a lot of those coming to me. But there's a lot of people who really told me. Some everybody the comedian told me, but the guy was telling me, or that guy, they were like telling me, and the general consensus was, Donna is chowing chicks because of the stature and everything, but that was never the case. And I was always being told that I'm a fuckboy and A, B, and C, but that was never the case. I did have, but at the same time, I did have game, and I also want us to talk a bit about the game aspect of it. I told Martha, back to the story, I told her, okay, this is what I'm going to so and so, and I'd really like us to go, and maybe later on we'll get to talk about, being in a relationship when I do have, and I do understand who I am, and maybe we'll continue what we started, So 9 years, me pursuing whatever I'm pursuing, trying to figure out what is or who is the Lesego in that aspect, that soul searching, read books, and I fell in love with entrepreneurship, and and that's around about the time I was like doing grade 11, if I'm not mistaken. I was doing grade 11 and was headed to my matric, and I was like, like I really need to focus. Grade 11 results, are very important when it comes to like applying for varsity. So I was like, I need to get my priorities straight at this point to be somebody this lab. And at the time, I wanted to go study at Rhodes University, international relations. I wanted to study international relations in Wits University. So I had to really study hard to acquire the degree. So I really worked grade 11, and the motivation behind that was my grandmother. My grandmother, always said like, Lesego wouldn't make it, Lesego this, and there's I can go stories for days with my grandmother, but that's a bit. And hopefully when we unwind and trickle down, and we'll start talking more about my grandmother. But my grandmother was like, no, Lesego this, you won't achieve, boop, 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 So that always drove me insane to say, she doesn't believe it. So a lot of the things that I achieved earlier on, it was because of her saying that I'm with it, always had that to prove her wrong, So went into my matric, very motivated to prove her wrong. Even grade 11, my boy, flying colors, right? Flying colors, get into my matric, do my matric. Grandmother starts getting sick, later, there's also like I was dating 2 chicks, grade 11, I was dating 2 chicks. The other one passed away because of depression, and I've always blamed myself for that. I don't know if I really blame myself, but let's just say I blamed myself for the sake of the podcast. I blamed myself, go ahead on to the matric. Never had time to think about it. Got into my matric, did the matric shandies, grandmother gets sick. This is like after, it's before prelims, right? She gets sick and she passes away. Right before I write my prelims, I go through the most. The time I'm not dating, there's no one I haven't healed from the situation, this global mother and all those people involved. And I'm like, oh, I haven't healed. My grandmother is passing away. And somehow a piece of me lost motivation as to why I was fighting so hard to pass my studies. It really took that away from me, because I was like, the reason I was doing this for sure, the good grades and all this, because my grandmother didn't believe that I'd be this person that I thought I was. And because, as a child, you go through, and they always judge you by those things. Because my grandmother was old and I was being naughty as a kid, and she always said that, we're not club with your side, you're always bad influence in you. What. She was that typical, I was like, okay, fine. Wanted to prove her wrong. She got sick, bro. And after she passed, bro, I went through a whole phase of really trying to balance studies and trying to repurpose my motivation, or to get motivated or inspired to study. Because for one reason that I had, that I wanted to pass, was to prove her wrong. But since she's gone, I have no one to prove wrong at that point, so I had to repurpose that, and repurposing that didn't just come overnight. I had to question. Went through a whole phase where I was questioning God, like, but I wanted to prove this person, and 95% of the time me and her fought. But that's one of the reasons I wanted to prove her wrong. Then it's like, that happened. Prelims come, I come out in second place in my grade, and I'm like, this was a close one. My friend Siabong Story came first, and that friend, Muzao, they took okay. Shout out to SMP. He's a rapper, Simpiwe. He's Simpiwe. I forgot who the same name is. He was fourth place. All the people I knew. Then we went to it on the finals. Still trying to find purpose and, drive to kind of like, because at the time, whenever you don't have both your parents around, you really have yourself to answer to, because everybody else just don't get it. Relatives don't get it. They just want you out of their lives after you are done with your matric, and so you can go to varsity, so you're not anyone's responsibility at that point, you know what I mean? So that happened, that matric happened, and results, they were disappointing for sure, because of that phase, trying to figure myself out, loss of motivation, less sleeping, and a lot of things factored in. Disappointed my teachers for sure. When I came to get, my results, they were very disappointed with the results that they saw, and because they also didn't understand that, I was going through a whole phase, and my grandmother, they never knew that. And actually, my matric jacket was actually bought by those ladies in the school, secondary school. My secondary matric jacket was bought by those ladies, and one of those ladies is now a deputy principal in the school. And I really appreciate them for that. And seeing that as a reaction to my results, I was kind of like disappointed. I tried applying to a few varsities, it's like, but I'm not sure if I'm really ready, to go into school. And so I was like, well, what, I'm just gonna take a gap year. 2016 took a gap year. 2017 took a gap year, trying to find purpose to my life. I really discovered the love of entrepreneurship earlier onwards, and I was like, maybe this is the time to fully explore. And because of the community where I was raised, my grandmother's neighborhood, it's like a semi-farm, plot place where you can, where that really gives poultry. There's a lot of poultry farms, and there's a lot of that, right? So I'm like, let me just go inquire, experience, ask about business, how to get chickens, the land. I did that, went out, for some time, even then I was still writing music, and I found healing actually in the songs that I was writing, not amazing song though, but the fact that I was writing something down each and every time, how I felt, and like it kind of like it reintroduced me to the love of music, rap music, and I started writing a lot of songs then. When I wrote a lot of songs and I could find, I was finding myself again. I was like, oh, I really like that. Maybe I can do music. Started researching music. I was like, oh, I'm going to be a rapper full time. And, I started coming up with plans, how I'm going to execute. Did that, it's like that journey. It took me into a roller coaster ride, just like trying to, discover myself. And that was not fun because, after the matric, took my gap year, my uncle had a fallout and, she broke my arm, ended up leaving the house, homeless for 1 year and 2 months. I was homeless, never had dad, still because he kicked me out. So I had to stay with the friends, had a caravan somewhere. And, I've been fighting ever since, trying to get the job so I can fund the music thing, Along the lines, I'm learning about podcasting, there's that, I'm learning, and this story is about, the relationship part of it, I'm learning everything, fell in love with podcasting, research, long story short, 2023, I decided to quit the job that I was working at. I was like, you know what, I think I'm fully ready to invest in podcasting. Let me just take a big job, quit my job. Very shitty people that I was working with, but topic for another day. I decided to leave that, enter the field of podcasting. I do that, enjoy, even now I'm still enjoying, I'm going through that whole phase ever since, haven't been in a relationship. And I've always, I've had moments in between. I was like, maybe I should try getting into the dating scene again. But, I find that, where I grew up in, and it's not to undermine the code of conduct, because where I come from, there's a code of conduct that kids shouldn't dance in church or outside, a whole contract that is written for the youth. And, the youth will always do youthful stuff. They'll try, when you say those, they'll always, test that. You see, is the stove really hot? There's always that. And I did try, and it's like, now I know how this feels. Let me try another thing. I did that for sure. So after doing that, it was like, that's how I ended up in the first, the personal development journey and finding myself. The story still goes on for sure, but I think now we have to go on to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about the story. So we'll break down the story that I had experienced today. So, and later on, I'll also have a guest who will indulge with us, as far as the topic is concerned. So when we come back after the break, we'll indulge more. I'm your host, Lesego Daddy Wadi Pod. Please don't forget to follow, like, and rate the show to get a notification for each and every time we drop a new episode. Let's meet after the break. Cheers. Welcome back to Backroom Convos. I'm your host, Lesego Daddy Wadi Pod, aka Future Short, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like I will. Listen, if you're a fan, of course, stay tuned because you might like what we're cooking. And on today's episode, we are talking everything, dating related. If you're in a relationship, we're talking about that dating scene. For sure, before we went on the break, I was still telling you a story about that. And before I continue with the story, for those of you who just joined us, the song of the day is Nice and Slow by Usher. It was released 1997. That's a banger till this day. And, for those of you who don't know who might be the potential wife, I think, Usher is killing it. The live performance, I think my wife deserves a front seat in every Usher concert. I think she does. Man, the man is brilliant, and every woman that is, appreciated, and they need to be appreciated the same way, and they need to be made to feel special in a way. I feel like every man should be getting the Open and Usher concert ticket, front seat even, because that man is amazing, it's amazing. I'm a man, imagine, and I'm still feeling the same way about Usher to say, bro, this man knows how to talk about love. Ladies love it and love that for life. She deserves it. So yeah, going back to the story, 2016. The 2016, started a podcast, did the podcasting thingy, and me always killing it, in this to learn and meet new people. As I have, you've seen all these episodes that we've done. We've interviewed a lot of great people, even exposed me to a whole new world of how people think, how they process, how I should even question, and my social skills, and did a lot for me. So now I really see. I've actually grown, because even in sales, it kind of like sales also helped as far as like improving my communication skills, because now I can really sell anything to anybody at any day and any time. That really, sales also really helped in it. But I think a part of like the knowledge that I've acquired in sales is also helping as far as like the format of how I ask questions with some of these guests. It also helped, and when I've grown so much, and now I was like, let me try again. I was interested because like, let me try again. Lovely lady, I love her. I'm like, let me shoot my shot. I'm like, okay, pull out the phone, shoot my shot. Doesn't, and I'm like, the first thing I saw, the reason that didn't land, I was like, and I saw on the Instagram it said she had a kid, boom, boom, and I was like, good. I'm not sure I'm ready for, a lady with the kid, to date, a person with a kid. But she is an amazing individual, I believe, she is. But the question was, am I ready? And, the fact that I was even questioning my readiness told me that not ready, because again, with me, it's different, because now I'm at the state where I truly understand what's when I date and date to marry. I'm in that state where I date to marry, and just date. So that's why I had to really sit down and really go through that phase where I questioned that. And the fact that I was questioning, I was like, maybe I'm not ready, and if I pursue this, will I, like there's a lot of things that I need to adjust internally, for that to happen. And I was like, am I in that position? I was like, no, I'm not in that. And yesterday I really tried another one. It was like, and I'm like, this thing just all of a sudden for me just became hard. Game for me was never a hard thing to do, because I've always been someone who knows how to communicate, how to question, I've always been good at this, and even in, the ladies, whenever it was easier for me to like, get ladies, because game, 100% I was there, because I think it also comes with like practice. I'm so sorry for that. It also comes with practice. The more you practice, the more you get good at it. It's like any other skill. It's there, game is there. So because I haven't been practicing for a long, it's just like 9 years, or even longer, 10 maybe, it's a decade. I haven't been in the field, I haven't been doing that, and it becomes a problem for me, because now I have to like, what do I do? I'm panicking, I'm searching, what do you say at this point? And the landscape has changed dramatically. I'm like, oh, we're panicking. Do I say? There's just a lot, and I'm like, oh, I'm not really sure, but I'm ready for this, And I pulled myself back. I was like, you know what? Let's just chill. Let's just chill. Focus, go back to focusing. This is just another one of those distractions. I was like, okay, boy, go out and focus. Went out, focused. Right. Today in the taxi, coming back, I'm somewhere in the world for sure. Get on a taxi. Nice young lady, she sits at the back of my seat and taking like in the back, the corner seat. I'm also like the window seat, but like a seat in front of hers. Another dude comes in between. Bro, that dude had game. Like, bro had game on another level. And I was like, oh. When he was speaking, I was like, oh, I know that some of the things he said were not, because I know game. When someone has game, you can tell, there's a dude that this guy is just sheer finessing the chick, you know what I mean? And the chick might also know, see, the guy is finessing me, but I like it. It's that situation, and I'm like, it's interesting. The questioning, and like, bro, was a 10, bro. Questions were on point, but it was a bit uncomfortable because, of course, it's texting. I'm like, I have a bit of class, so like, I'm more of a sit and dine and let's talk. I'm not a texting type, shoot your short type of dude. I'm not that. So I'm like, oh, I admire dude for the fact that he can do that, get the number and take it. Check out the same day. They're going out. As we speak, they're going out today. Yeah. And I was like, nah, this is crazy. And what I realized was, bro, this thing, you have to practice. You have to practice to be good at it. Nobody is good at that, game, raising chicks or like talking to ladies without practice. You need to practice. You need to consistently shoot your shot with people, and consistently need to do that to get good at it, to know what works and what doesn't work. It's one thing to know how to shoot your shot when you're alone, when you have the game, when you're alone, you're like, this is how you see the scenario in your head. But when you meet the person in a different type of story, you need to be able to adjust. And all those things you learn with time and apply yourself. You know what I mean? It's that. Aim is that, And to be smooth, for people to follow, you have to believe what she's saying, basically. That's what I'm saying. You have to believe what she's saying. And that comes with practice. And it's a skill, And it's a skill that I took for granted for the longest of time. And now that I realize it was, wait a minute. This step I used to have it, but now I don't have it. And seeing someone else execute it, and I'm like, oh, this one. Good. I'm so sorry for the language, but he was good, bro. I tell you, I was impressed, I was impressed by the risk. And I was like, oh, God. And a question that I had to ask myself was, bro, do I also have to go through the process again, not being rejected? Do I need to not start going out here letting chicks that was beautiful? Like, what's the story here? Because now, anything that you say to a lady that's sensitive can be sensitive or insensitive, can also be off-putting and turn off and they want to leave. And, there's also that. And also, doing that, trying to find your type, it's a lot of work. This thing of trying to find your type and obviously there's requirements for sure. There's people that you look at and you're like, this feels like it's it, and you try and you realize that it's not it, or your game is not on, they reject it, and it's always the case, man. Sometimes the people that you love don't love you, and the ones that you love, it's always there. There's the ones that love you and you don't love them, and there's the ones I want, and it's always a reality, and it's always there, and you need to be invested. And people that are invested, it's second nature, so they don't have to think about it. And at some time I was at that point where I didn't have to think about it, but now I think about it a lot, and I was like, oh, I don't have it. So the question now is to me, do I reinvest myself into this and try to shape it in a format that works for the person, that's soothing, or that's a fit to our life and the way I work, and everything. Do I repurpose my approach to that? But what should I do? What should I do? You guys let me know in the comment section what I should do. And later I want to be having a guest, and we'll indulge more on this conversation with someone who is in and out of relationships, and we'll get to get their opinion as a lady, from a lady perspective, and as someone who's in a relationship. We'll have her later on the show. And for the book of the day, for those of you who just joined us, the book of the day, I decided, we're simply talking everyday relationships. I decided the book of the day will be 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. It was released on the 20th of July 2011. It's a romantic novel. It's a romantic novel rather. So for people who've watched the movie, there's a book version of it for those of you who didn't know. So you can go out there and read the book. And I was listening to that other guy, a comedian, and he was talking about the book, and he was like, I feel like the movie was better. If you watch the movie, it's kind of like off-putting because you already know what's happening, and I think it won't be as interesting. That's what I'm trying to. It's like someone telling you things of a movie when you're trying to watch it. It's like, look at this. This is going to happen next. They kind of like give you spoiler alerts. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you've watched the movie, this won't be as nice or as interesting as it is for someone who hasn't watched the movie. So I'll repeat it again. The book of the day is 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. It was released on the 20th of June 2011. It's a romantic novel. Go out and check it out. Song of the day, Nice and Slow by Usher, released in 1997. It's still a banger till this day. Do let us know what you think about this episode in the comment section and what you want to hear on the next episode of the guest that we need to bring out. Don't forget to follow, rate, and follow us to get a notification for each and every time we drop a new episode, basically. I'm your host, Lesego Daddy Buddy Pod, aka Shoot Your Short, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy. Like Cairo, let's meet on another amazing segment of Backroom Convos. Cheers.